Hello, guys. Always want to do this. Always want to kind of review current TV shows or movies on my channel. So finally have time to do it, and then I'm trying to figure out how to do it since I don't want to actually post the actual video. I think there's probably some kind of copyright infringement if I post it there. So, but I'm gonna basically essentially take some screenshots and kind of explain it. This will have some spoilers, so if you already have not watched What If on Disney Plus, don't watch this episode. There'll be some spoilers. Some of these are not spoilers because the title of the episode kind of tell you kind of exactly what's the main episode about. So the first episode is essentially what if Captain Carter is Captain America, the first Avenger. So the concept of what if is, essentially you have an alternate universe where something is different. Essentially, in this case, instead of Steve Rogers being Captain America and with Peggy Carter become Captain America. So that starts out with essentially a recap of how Steve Rogers became Captain America, and you'll see Red Skull in there, and you'll see Steve Rogers, transforming to a super soldier, kicking butt, and essentially becoming the first Avenger, Captain America. Right. Next thing you'll see, they say, "Oh, there's an alternate universe. What happened if this? This? What happened if Peggy became Captain America?" So then you'll see, first scene you see Peggy and Steve. The episode kind of builds on that. They have a relationship. They like each other, and similar to the movie, you see Peggy and Steve having a discussion. You gonna be super soldier? That'd be great, awesome. You can help us turn the tide of the war. This is about World War II, right? So then, of course, something bad happens. There is a person in, I guess, the lab where they can put the super soldier serum onto Steve Rogers, and there is a Hydra, I guess, agent or something where it basically sabotage the whole thing and make the lab explode. And Agent Carter kind of saw that coming like a second early. I think save Steve Rogers, I believe, and then of course you'll see her basically kill Hydra agent, essentially, and then they made discussion where it's, Steve, I believe, is injured from the explosion. Then who want to be the super agent because actually Howard Stark make an appearance in this, and Howard Stark said, "Hey, who wants to be the next Steve? Since Steve is injured, does Peggy want to be a Captain American or actually Howard or whoever, right?" So then Peggy volunteers, "Hey, I want to be Captain America. Give me the super serum." And of course she goes into this pod. They put the super serum into her. Pod's open, and she becomes like a steroid Peggy Carter, and she looked like She-Hulk, or basically a female bodybuilder, right? She's buff, right? And they just put more bulk onto her. So that's cool. So the whole point, the one thing I noticed about this, the animation of this is really good. I really love it's kind of animation, but the way they drew it is very lifelike. The facial expression, the way they move, is almost like real life movie. Essentially, I love the animation, but it reminds me of really old animation. I'm kind of old. It reminds me of heavy metal in the early '80s. Very similar. It's very mature, not like mature rated R, but mature animation where it's lifelike. Facial expression is not silly, so good animation, right? So she becomes, Captain American, all buff up. Captain American. Peggy Carter is Captain America, essentially. So then you'll see the next set of scenes is basically she doing training, right? Somehow she start throwing, I guess, dishes or I'm not sure why they did that because they're thinking that she may have a shield, I guess. So eventually, Howard Stark give her the uniform, the shield, everything, and she become essentially a female Captain America, right? So then you see her first time, I think, essentially stopping some Hydra soldiers or Nazi, I don't know. And she, the big difference that instead of a Captain American flag, which is an American flag, you see here the British flag. So that's kind of like a female Captain America, but female Captain Britain. So it's cool. She has a shield with the Britain flag on it, essentially. Pretty cool. She beat up some guys. She started using her power. She felt really great. So wow, I have power. Yeah, I'm pretty cool, right? So some great scenes of her beating up people, right? So then she eventually came on a mission to rescue these guys. I forgot what they call these guys, but these are the original, I guess, special forces that was in the Captain America First Avenger movie. But somehow they get captured because they don't have, the super soldier with them in the mission. So she rescued them. And of course, there's some fights. And then the surprising thing is, hey, there is an Iron Man suit, the first Iron Man suit. It's actually Steve Rogers in the suit. So that's pretty cool. So now we have a female Captain Britain, I guess, and Steve Rogers being in the first Iron Man suit, I believe. So that is cool. That's surprising, right? That's pretty cool. And then, they released them. She rescued those guys. I forgot what they called them. Rescued them. She has a suit. She looked good. She's buff. She got the Captain Britain shield on. She's all cool, right? And then you got a scene of the very first time you see Steve Rogers in a kind of an Iron Man suit. It's pretty cool. The Iron Man suit, is it similar to the first Iron Man suit in the first Iron Man movie? Maybe, but that was cool. It reminded me of an Iron Giant. But by the way, so it's all good. This is good. The surprising part is he has a suit on, so that's pretty cool. So now we get into more missions, and I think somehow they get the whole Tesseract again. Oh. And then you'll see, of course, the return of Red Skull. He's heading Hydra, and Hydra essentially is like, I want Tesseract because there's some power in Tesseract. So you'll see one of the Hydra agent or Nazi agent is actually Red Skull in this guy. So, okay, you got Red Skull. Makes sense. He was in the first movie. He will be in this What If movie, right? What if right? So then they went to another mission. This time, in a train in the winter, and of course, Steve somehow got lost. Basically, so kind of similar to the end of the first Avenger movie where Steve sacrificed himself, get frozen for 7 years. So I guess similar in the train, Captain Britain, Captain America, Peggy Carter go on a mission with Iron Man, which is Steve Rogers, and they got in a fight, and somehow Steve Rogers get lost the Iron Man suit, and so she's like, oh no. Interesting how they kind of do it in the winter, similar to when Steve Rogers, Captain America, sacrifice stuff. So eventually you get to this point where you see the Hydra lab again. Red Skull is trying to unlock the power of Tesseract, and there's some big octopus coming out of Tesseract. I'm not sure what his use socks. I'm not sure. I don't I don't research Tesseract, the history, but big octopus come out. Okay, so I'm like, okay, is that secret power? Not that great, but it is what they choose, right? And then again, Captain Britain, Captain America, and Peggy Carter came, and essentially two things was A, try to get the Tesseract back, and maybe Steve, Roger, Iron Man suit is there. The cool thing about this pose, this is the first time I see her with a sword. That's pretty cool. You got sword, you got shield. Hey, is that like King Arthur? So it's pretty cool. You got Britain uniform on, the shield. You got sword. I feel like she's a knight of the round table, right? So that's pretty cool, right? Eventually, she beat. She pushed back the octopus into the Tesseract. Somehow, something happened to the Tesseract, but then she went out of the Tesseract. This case, the Tesseract got recovered by apparently Nick Fury, and I forgot the guy, Hawkeye, was standing in front of the Tesseract, and she jumped out of the Tesseract. But it's 70 years later, so it's like, wow, she somehow they didn't tell what happened exactly, but it looked like that she killed the octopus. Chunks of octopus came out of the Tesseract. She teleported into the future 70 years later, and she talked to them briefly, and they're like, hey, it's 70 years later. Hey, that's Captain America? And it's not Steve Rogers? It's Peggy Carter. And I believe they say, hey, it's Peggy Carter. And then they tell her that, hey, it's 7 years later. And then, they say, you guys won the war. We won the war. American, UK, Britain won the war. And it's 7 years later. But then, of course, she felt kind of like, oh, Steve is probably dead now, 7 years later. Or maybe he's really old and missed all the time with him. So that's very similar to the movie, where he got frozen. 7 years later, he woke up, and I think in the movie that he went back and visited her. I don't remember, but to get that last dance, whoever. So, the episode in general, good animation, lifelike, great. Okay, the title of the episode kind of give away was the plot, right? Essentially, you got Peggy Carter as Captain America. Not a big deal. Okay, the one good thing I know is like they didn't spend much time on a bunch of guys in the 40s and like a female super soldier, right? So that's good, because then they'll be like, oh god, this is another. I don't want the episode to be just about a female Captain America kicking butt, and none of the guys like that. So they did a little bit of that, but it was great. I think the one thing they should have done is take more risks and not just go, hey, tell a story of a female Captain America. I wish they did something about take risks where the Steve Rogers being Iron Man suit, great. I wish if they came back and then you'll see Iron Man there and it's actually Steve Rogers or something like that. Oh, Iron Man. That'd be awesome, where she is Captain America and Steve became Iron Man. That'd be cool. Or something like that. Or something happened where, she has a conflict with Iron Man or something. Or Steve got mad because she became super soldier. Steve got mad and became a bad guy or something. So they should take more risks, because what if it's essentially taking risks and doing some strange things that flips around stuff, right? So is a female Captain America. In the future, maybe there could be Steve Rogers Iron Man, or Steve Rogers got mad at her because she took the super soldier serum, and maybe Steve Rogers becomes Winter Soldier because he was mad at her or something, or Hydra got brainwashed Steve Rogers into becoming Winter Soldier, and then she fight Steve Rogers. That'd be awesome. That'd be a great what if, where she has to fight the person that she loves, and he was Winter Soldier and she was Captain America. They should have took more chance, but they did a safe episode here, essentially, which is okay, but I wish they took more chance. And I think that's what I felt. I hope they take more chances because I don't want a safe episode in future where what if is you can do anything you want. Essentially, you can switch things around, and you can make good guys become bad guys and bad guys become good guys. So that's the first episode. Again, I kind of like it. I thought it was good animation, everything good, but it just wasn't much of what if there. It was just a female Captain America. So take more risks, do something different, have it so that a good guy become bad guys or bad guys become good guy, right? So that's that episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Be subscribed. Bye.